ready for two wild guys throwing out spicy ideals on fantasy football. Welcome back to the Dynasty Football Maniac. Trust at your own risk.
Today we're going to talk about the NFC South. I know a lot of preseason games are going on. People finally settling in their spots. Injuries are starting to pile upon each other. Teams are starting to shake up a little bit. Fantasy's getting a little scary. But we're going to go ahead and finish out these last two divisions we haven't covered yet. And that's we're going to do right now the NFC South, and then we'll have the North to discuss. So I guess we'll start with uh, I believe this team will probably end up dead last this year in this division. So I'm going to start with the worst of the bunch, in my opinion. And that is going to be the Carolina Panthers. So they did pick up a good wide receiver. Bryce Young's looking good preseason. Everybody's kind of looking all right at preseason. I still don't think they're going to pull it off this year. I don't see it. I mean, we could dream it, but preseason doesn't tell me any different than what any other season shows. But it'll be a good tall task. I mean, towards the end of the season last year, he started improving, but this season we'll have to see. I think their top scorer on the offensive side for wide receiver, other than the quarterback, because I honestly think Bryce Young won't start every game. I think he'll still get Andy Dalton in there a few times. I think their running back Chuba Hubbard will probably do the best. I know McMillan's there, Adams there, but I still think the running back will probably have the best go at it. And then on the defensive side, they shook it up a lot. I mean, they changed it a lot. So it's like I'm looking at this defensive side. They brought in like what, five, six, well, it looks like five different players, not well, just on a starting lineup. And then on the back end, you got another four. It's definitely not the same defensive line we seen last year. And in this case, the scenario, I'm gonna have to lean on the safety. I mean, I don't even know if the safety's gonna be any good. I just DJ, no, yeah, maybe DJ.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, it's rough looking. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm saying it. Why are you saying wow?
Because I have a lot more love for the Panthers than you do, apparently.
I guess you do. Well, I don't even like the idea. Like they got Trevion Etienne punt returning, and then they got Jimmy Horn kick returning. So they got the duty split right now. Hopefully, midway through the season, they'll get it on one person, and it'll be something to look worthwhile for Carolina Panthers. And I'm going to leave it at that since Austin has more to share about them than I do.
Yeah, because I don't think they're going to be last. I I think there's a worse team in this division than them, and
Oh,
I think their defense is still to be in question due to the fact that they got five more players from last year. So if the defense can do better, I think Bryce Young, something's clicking with Bryce Young, and we saw it at the end of last year. That switch finally hit. So I think they'll do a little better. I don't, you know, I'm not saying they're going to win the division or anything. I just said they're at least not going to be last. Um, I really like Tedero McMillan. I really liked him, and between him and Bryce Young, I think they're already forming a connection. So I think that's going to be fun. Uh, if Xavier Leggett could quit fighting people, he'd be a good addition as well. But even so, I mean, they got Jimmy Horn Jr. as well. Jalen Coker, I believe, is actually going to wind up taking the spot from Adam Thielen, in my opinion. Jalen Coker is I think he's gonna have a really good year this year. By the way, I've been reading things and I've seen him play the last preseason game, which it's a good thing for them. Oh, so on offense, I'm gonna go with I do like Chuba Hubbard too, but I'm gonna go with Tyrell McMillan just because he wasn't I just really like him. He's really good. I have high hopes for him. Defense. Now, defense, I'm it's kind of one of those things where I'm looking and I'm actually gonna go with I'm gonna go with JC Horn. Just because I know he's a good player as long as he stays healthy. And plus, you know, they got five, 6 players in there. Now, I'm really interested to see if these rookies like Princely and Nick Scorton. I'm really curious to see if they can wiggle their way into the starting lineup because those two are some pretty good players that they picked up for defense. So uh, that's who I am going with on the two sides of the team.
All right. So what? Last year they were what? The team finished what, 2-15 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
This year they're going to finish 3-14. Um, but with that being said,
No, I think Bryce Young might. No, it's kind of crazy, but Bryce Young is going to do a lot better than what people think.
there's a lot of people hoping he has his redemption year this year. There's a lot of people speculating that they believe that he's got a lot of growth. They've improved the offensive line or trained it up a little bit better. They feel like they've got him more in sync. They even question if Adams going to be a starter as a wide receiver. There's been questions about that. He could not end up being a
Yeah,
starter this year.
because
And
I
there's
think,
also questions
I,
about the O line, Patrick Jones, that they picked up, is also vulnerable a potential replacement. So
yeah, I
uh,
think Jalen Coker is going to take that from Adam.
it'd be nice to see that. But then Adam has always been trustworthy all the way back to Minnesota when he played with all the greats. And now they do believe Rico there will probably have a pretty good come out, and that might end up hurting Chuba. I mean, if he comes out taking the ball away and he ends up being the running back, that could change things. But I doubt very much we're going to see that. I mean, that's just hopefuls talking here. Um,
Hmm.
I still don't think they're going to have more than 5 wins this year. That's just my honest opinion.
Well, that's what opinions are for.
Yep, yep. So it's not that I actually love the Panthers. I think they're a great team that was brought into the NFL. Uh, I think they've been shafted a few times. They had many multiple times to maybe go somewhere. They definitely had the players on the team to do it. At one point or another, some star was there, either McCaffrey or Cam Newton, but just never pulled it together. So, and I just one of them things, I guess.
Hmm.
Looking at that, and I do agree, Xavier Worthy, all one fight, it's okay. And actually, if they do sit Adam Thielen, it'll be Jimmy Horn that'll take his spot. That's who's his slot receiver backup is. Jalen Coker's behind Xavier Liggett, but Xavier Liggett ain't done very well.
Yeah,
So
they can all change.
it could all change. It could be swapped up. I mean, they have a lot of opportunity to grow. Um, it'll be interesting to see how that whole defense works its way out. They did pick up some good rookies, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see them sprinkle them in. So it'd be interesting to see that. With that being said, we don't want to go too far down that path of me saying horrible things about a team. Uh, who do you want to talk about next in the Great South?
Well, I will talk about the team that I think will be the last team in the division, and we can talk about the Saints because honestly, I mean, you might have a better picture, or you might have a better opinion about this, the quarterback room than I do. But I mean, it's it's so many questions. Like, look, we already know what we're getting out of Spencer Rattler. We already know what we're getting out of him. Tyler Shaw, he's a rookie, so we don't know anything yet. But I mean, this team looks rough. It looks rough. Chris Olave just scares me due to the fact that well, for one, he has been having some concussion issues for the past few years, which is very concerning because I'm all about the players' head health, and I want them to all be safe. But he's done had like at least 3 or 4 in the past couple of years. Just kind of like just like Tua, which I'm also concerned about that as well. But uh, Chris Olave will be great if he can just stay healthy. Now they did add Brandon Cooks, but that's just a honestly that's just a body that they just needed to grab, and he wasn't that expensive, so they went ahead and grabbed him. Um, I don't mind Jawan Johnson though. He'd be like probably like a middle in tight end. But the defense, well, I mean, the defense, I do like Chase Young. I do like Pete Warner. Demario Davis, he's been a staple with the Saints for a few years now. He's been a really good linebacker for them. And they added some safety help, and they added another corner. They did get some depth in on defense as well, but on defense, I went I was going between 3 different ways, but I actually am going to go with I'm going to go with the old veteran. I'm going to go with Demario Davis. I mean, that man's been one of their top scorers for a few years now. So I think that he's going to do it again this year and be one of their top scorers for this year. Um, on offense, honestly, I'm just going to have to go with now. This is also if he stays healthy, but I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara, man, because he's kind of like a different version of Christian McCaffrey. They use him in the receiving game. They use, they let him run, which he's a good runner as well. So there's him all kinds of ways. Until I'm proven otherwise, I wouldn't mind, like, if I was in a redraft, I wouldn't mind taking a shot on him in the later rounds if I, needed a RB2 or a flex spot. But that is who I am going with. There and it's mainly it's just I just have a lot of questions about their offense, and their defense hopefully gets bolstered up this year because they were basically the third worst defense in the league last year in yards per game allowed. So hopefully they can get that defense up, but that's that is my take on that.
All right. So I'm bringing something up is why my head's turned sideways here. I thought I'd have it open before you got done talking, but
Oh, I'm sorry. You should have gave me a signal. That way I kept going then.
it's fine. All right. I'm surprised Spencer Rattler was named the number one quarterback, but in a way, I kind of understand they don't want Tyler coming out there and then the whole preseason thing. So right now, the matchup for Spencer Rattler for his first game, if he still keeps the starting position, will be against the Arizona Cardinals, which is not a bad matchup, but then it is. I mean, kind of like, yeah, the best advantage they have is a running back, and that's going to be Alvin Kamara when it comes to passing and stuff. I don't know how that's going to look. I'm just looking at it right now. I'm like,
Yeah,
So
I
this
know.
is going to talk. I wonder how long they're going to stay behind Spencer Rattler. So as in a dynasty league, if I had
I don't
Tyler
know.
Sal, I would kind of keep him in the taxi squad until they start starting him. But I don't think Spencer Rattler is going to last the whole season. And I do agree, Chris Olave has a chance to be a top scorer, but with the injuries and everything like that, it's most likely going to be Alvin Kamara. I don't want to say it, but until his age, until it happens, he's consistent. So right now, last year he finished in the top 10 running backs. I mean, until they can knock him out of that, I don't see anybody in that back room coming in there saying, "I'm taking this job away from you, Alvin Kamara." I mean, Kendra
Right.
Miller, Cam Akers, even Edward Claire. I mean, none of them guys are going to come up and grab that spot yet. And on the defense, I'm going to kind of lean towards the veteran too, Demorial Davis. I mean, I don't really see much on that defense. What I did think was interesting is they have named their punt returner this year as Rashid Shaneed, and he's also
Hmm.
the wide receiver. So if you're in a punt return league, he's probably going to be your top scorer, and he's probably the one you want to be putting in the wide receiver or flex spot because he's going to be he's one playing a regular position, plus he's a punt return, kick return. So that's going to be a lot of points for this guy this year if that remains the same. It could always change. Kind of watch out for it, but that might be their help. But I'm also with you. I don't think they're going to finish top of the division. I had them coming in second to last. So, and I had them just barely beating out the Panthers. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's where I was at on that team. I wasn't like, oh, these guys are going to just do it. They're not. So, if I was out there picking my draft picks right now, I'd stay away from their entire tight end room. Don't touch them. They're already two injured, and I'm still can't believe. I mean, yeah, I mean they already got two injured tight ends. They do have a left tackle that's a rookie, first round pick that could help out the front line there, guard, help maybe the run game, which is going to mainly help Alvin Kamara. Maybe protect Spencer Rattler a little bit longer. And Brandon Cook's not a bad wide receiver. If all three wide receivers showed up healthy, it'll be an interesting game. And don't ever forget what they have in the back room. They don't have a bad back room of wide receivers. They do have Cedric Wilson Jr. He's pretty decent. I like Devion Peoples Jones. He's pretty good. And Dante Pitas is pretty good. So, I mean, they got a pretty decent back room of wide receivers. Running backs, I mean, Kendra Miller is who he is. Cam Akers is who he is. At the end of the day, Alvin Kamara is always there, so it doesn't really matter. So, until that changes, I can't say much about that. So, if I think that's just my opinion on that one. So, going to the next team in the Great South, uh, let's go to the next team that's going to finish, that I think is going to finish right behind or right in front of the Saints. Drum roll. Kind of giving my rankings out already. I think it's going to be Atlanta Falcons. I don't, I still believe Tampa's going to rule that division. But with the Falcons, it's going to be a close race. It ain't going to be like they win it easily. They're going to have to really play. The Falcons are going to have to do the best they can. They still have Penix as quarterback one. Kirk Cousins behind them. They don't have Kirk Cousins injured anymore. Bijan, I think, is going to have his top year. So if I'm, you got a lot of top scorers on this team. So it's really hard to say. Like we know Penix, if he plays, he's going to be good. Bijan, we know he's going to be a top scorer. He's going to finish in the top 5. He finished top 3 last year. Um, Wide receiver, I was hoping Daryl Mooney would come back. He's already hurt. Kind of scary a little bit, but not too bad because they do have a little bit of wide receiver room, but not really much. But I do believe Drake London's going to have another good year. So I'm finally glad to see him finally balling. And on the defense, on the tight end, I like their tight end Kyle Pitts. I mean, he's finally picking up his game too. So that whole offense is doing good. I think it's going to be a battle between Tampa and them through the season. But if I'm drafting players, I mean, there's a lot of players from this team that'll be nice. Even their backups would be nice to have. I mean, you could grab a Tyler Algier in late round and have him as a backup. And as much as he gets touches and carries, he's going to score and still be pretty decent. I mean, so I mean, he's worth kind of even picking up. If I look last year at Tyler Algier, finished 43 out of all the running backs. So he was averaging points per game. Not that good points per game, but he had a few games where he had 10. It was like 6.2. You're getting a little bit lower when you get down 43. I mean, all your ones that are averaging above 10 is going to be in your top 30. So once you get below that, everybody's averaging about 9 points a game. But Algier only played he played all 17, but still, it's a good little backup if you need him in there. I think he's worth picking up because in one game he might do really well. And if Bijan's out, you definitely want to play him because he's the next back. On the defensive side, it's still hard to say who I like out of the defense because the whole defense I like. But I'm gonna probably put all my money on Caden Ellis this year. I think he's gonna be your highest scorer out of that little bunch. But then you got a lot of good players on that defensive side. It's really hard to say, but I'm gonna lean more to Caden Ellis. They've had a few injuries, but it's been in the secondary group. They also have named one punt returner and kick returner, and that's Jamal Agnew, and he is the backup to Ray McLeod III. So he could get potential shots of getting some receptions during the game, and plus he's the punt returner. He would definitely be a good pickup because Atlanta does do the punt return. So, and with the new rules and stuff, it'd be interesting to watch. So, who do you think is going to be the top scorer, and who would you pick? Like, if you were drafted right now out of this team, like we're doing a fantasy draft, which Atlanta player would you pick the first? If you had, let's say you got the first overall pick, would you pick any player off of this team with the first overall pick?
I would pick Bijan.
So yeah, most people would pick Bijan at 101. That he is up there, but you also have wide receivers that compete with him from other teams. But if you're in the top first 5 picks, Bijan's going to be gone. Bijan, if he even lasts us to the 5th pick, would be kind of amazing. I mean, I really don't see him getting past that. He's still highly rated overall ADP.
Yeah, that is correct. Good sir.
So who do you think is who do you think is going to score the highest on that team?
All right. So before I give that away, I am going to do my analysis. Actually, you know what? I already know who I'm going to pick on defense, and that's going to be Jesse Bates. Jason Bates is a really good safety. He's the last. I mean, if you look at his career, he was rookie in 2018, but from the beginning, he had when he was with Cincy, he had 3 interceptions, 3 years in a row. Then he had 1 year, but that's because he missed a couple of games. But then and Cincy, he had one more in 2021. And then in 2022, he had 4 interceptions. Signs with Atlanta, has his best year with Atlanta when he got 6 interceptions, with 132 tackles. And then last year, he had 4 interceptions 102 tackles, 1 sack, 4 forced fumbles, and a fumble recovery. So I am going with Jesse Bates on the defense because that man can play some ball. And I think now it's kind of hard to say. I still think this defense might be in the middle of the pack, kind of like how they were last year. But I do think getting Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. is a significant upgrade for that pass rush. So I know on our lads got them as the backups right now, but man, in all honesty, it would really be hard unless they got hurt. It would really be hard to see both of them on the bench, the whole year. I think I think they would be starting in the starting lineup eventually soon. On offense, there's a lot there's some things to get excited about. I mean, we watched Michael Phoenix get put in by the Houdini himself, Kirk Cousins. Um, which I have not seen at all in the preseason, which is bizarre. But I guess he's just gonna take his millions and sit in the corner and pout. But Michael Phoenix, he showed some flashes last year. He has the opportunity to build himself up now in this receiving core. Basically, since Darnell Mooney is hurt, basically you're probably going to see Drake London and Kyle Pitts get a lot of most of the shares. I mean, they'll sprinkle in some with Ray McLeod, and when Darnell Mooney comes back, then Darnell Mooney is gonna eat into that more. But they're gonna do that, and then also you got Bijan. I mean, Bijan's shown that he can receive the ball and run with the ball. So, he's gonna get some receptions as well. And debating I was debating on which player I was gonna take for the offense because man, this offense is good overall. Last year they were 369.8 yards per game, and that's the sixth best in the NFL last year. So, and a lot of this is with they actually kept a lot of their people, and there was not too many people that they added, and because a lot of them didn't really leave. I mean, they did add some depth, but they didn't like go out there and add on offense. They didn't go out there and add like big significant names or anything. So they could have the same possibility of getting anywhere from the top 10 on offense. But I'm gonna go with Bijan. I'm gonna go with Bijan just because of the workload and how things go. They love to give him the ball, and I do agree with you on the whole Tyler Algier thing. Uh, because as much workload as they're going to get Bijan, there's a higher risk of Bijan getting hurt. So, and we've already done seen what Tyler Algier can do. So I do agree with definitely. I would get him in the later rounds as a stash for whenever you need to have the opportunity to use him. But yeah, that's who I pick for the offense is Bijan.
All right. So that's going to leave us with one team now covering this great conference. And that's the one I think is going to finish top. So if you guys want to know my orders, it's already pretty much gave it away. It's going to be Tampa, Atlanta, Saints, Carolina. And what I think about Tampa is they're always on the verge right now of getting it. And I think they're going to do it again. I was surprised Chris Godwin went down again, but not surprised. But behind him, you got Ibuka. He looked great during the preseason, so it's not going to be like a scary thing. Rashad White went down, but Bucky Irvin's doing fine. So there you go. The running back's there. We all know Baker Mayfield's going to be the quarterback. Their tight end's not bad, Cade Oten. If not, he's getting better. I know they brought in Teddy Bridgewater, but he's behind Kyle Trask. And then you got Mike Evans. He's back as healthy as can be. Jalen McMillan did really good last year filling in, and now he's got a spot. Tez Johnson's right behind him from Oregon, but I can tell you right now, Jalen McMillan's going to be out there on the wide receiver. We know Ibuka's probably going to get a start as long as Chris Godwin's still hurt. Behind him, he has Shepard Sterling from the Giants and Cameron Johnson's that they picked up. So the top scorer out of that bunch, I think, will probably be. I'm going to have to go with Bucky Irvin. I think the running back is going to rule on that thing. And then the top wide receiver is going to probably be Mike Evans. I would love to say Ibuka right now, but Mike Evans is going to be, as long as he's healthy, that's Baker's favorite target. That's everybody's favorite target. Even if it was Brady's favorite target, the guy before Brady, everybody loves Mike Evans. I mean, if you got Mike Evans as a wide receiver, you throw to him as long as he's healthy because he's going to catch the ball. He's a glue. So why wouldn't you? I don't think we're going to see that change yet. And looking at the defense, I think the defense looks just as good as it did last year. It's pretty much the same, other than they added Henson Riddick, which is going to make a big impact. This time he's going to play because he's got his contract. He's got what he wants. Last time he played, he was really good. I think as scoring wise, as long as Antonio Whitfield Jr. is healthy, he's going to be their top scorer. I mean, that was the only reason he wasn't top scorer last year is he was dealing with injuries. This year he looks pretty good. I would love to say Riddick. Riddick could be a top scorer. He's finished at the top 10 before. He's on a new team, a new scheme. I'm going to kind of lean towards Antonio as long as he stays healthy. My second bet would be Riddick after that. But they got other decent defensive players on there. So now they did split the punt return and kick return with Sean Tucker and Trey Palmer. And Trey Palmer's the backup for kick return, but Tez Johnson's the backup for punt return. So I don't think you're going to see Sean Tucker take both roles because he's not even in the list for punt return.
Right.
But then that could always change, but Sean Tucker's the third running back. Well, technically he's second in his Rashid White's hurt. So that means he's second in the spot. Behind him, his names I've never even heard of. Josh Williams, Owen Wright, and J.C. McClellan, which doesn't mean nothing. You could not hear of a player. They come out and they just be like extraordinary good. So I know none of them are on my teams. But I do have Sean Tucker on one team, and I don't have Bucky Irvins. I don't think I traded him away. I wish I had now. Which I kind of always felt I really had a lot of high hopes for Sean Tucker, but the injury started off bad, and maybe that'll change for him later on. We'll have to see. So, who do you think is going to be top scorer on this team?
Well, this offense, I really like. I think the offense is gonna do good. Now, just like you, if Chris Godwin's can stay healthy, which honestly, at this point, he hasn't really actually been healthy in the last few years. So I was honest, and honestly, I was really surprised that they gave Chris Godwin a contract, but then turn around and get Ibuka. Like, my thing was, if you're just gonna wind up getting Ibuka, then why even re-sign Chris Godwin? Because, in all honesty, I really do think Ibuka is gonna take the job from Chris Godwin. I mean, even if he does come back healthy, but how long is he going to stay healthy? So, um, I do think this offense is going to do. They're going to do pretty good because last year they did really good because they were actually the number 3 offense in the league. So, yeah, they had a 399.5 yards per game. So that was number 3 in the NFL, right behind 2 teams. Would you like to take a guess on who those 2 teams are?
Right behind, like, what did you ask now?
So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is had the 3rd offense in the league last year, but they were only behind 2 teams. I'll give you hints. One's in the NFC and one is in the AFC.
I would say the Lions. No, the Lions and the Eagles.
Okay, so you got the Lions correct, but the Eagles are not it. That's one team, is but they're from the AFC.
Oh, you said one team from. Okay, yeah, I picked one. Lions in the NFC.
Right,
It'd be the Ravens.
correct. So yes, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were literally just behind them 2 teams, and we saw how explosive they are. And they just adding Ibuka, and heck, they even added Tez Johnson. I know he's a 7th round pick, but I mean, there's possibilities. You mean possibilities to move in sections and stuff. Because Mike Evans is going to do his thing. The age eventually will get to him, but until otherwise, he's going to be good. But I am going to agree with you. I'm going to go with Bucky Irving because I also thought about Kate Otten because him and Baker Mayfield has a really good connection with each other. But I'm going to go with Bucky Irving because he broke out last year. He took the starting job, and he's another running back that catches the ball real well out of the backfield, which helps them out a lot. So I'm gonna go with Bucky Evans as much as I like Mike Evans. Defense. On the other hand, this one took me a minute to think about because their defense was they were in the middle of the pack. They were in the middle of the pack. They gave up 341.8 yards allowed per game. So, they added, Hassan Reddick. They drafted Jacob Parrish in a 3rd round who looks like is projected to be starting. Um Yeah, I mean, I still think that the Buccaneers are. I agree with you. I believe they're going to win the division, but in order for them to get deep into the playoffs, this defense has got to step up a little bit more. But on defense, I'm gonna have to go with you as well on this one. Really like Antoine Winfield Jr., so I'm definitely gonna go with him. On him being the top scorer on this defense.
Yeah, and let's not forget and give a little shout out to the Sander boy that's on the team. Shiloh, he is third depth on the free safety, so chances that we might see a little bit of him on the field, but maybe not too much. Good for him making the team. That's what I say.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that matters. You're on there. You got your foot in the door. You
All
move
right.
yourself up as you improve. Always remember that.
Right.
Uh, so who's your second finisher in the thing? Since I know you got Tampa as number one, who do you got
Uh,
finished second?
so I got Tampa winning, and then right behind them I got the Falcons, and then I just flip flop with you. I got the Panthers behind the Falcons, and then I have the Saints being last.
So out of that bunch, who do you think's going to make it to the playoffs?
I have the Saints and the Falcons. Or not the Saints, but I have the Buccaneers and the Falcons making the playoffs.
See, I only have Tampa making it. Yeah, I think what's going to happen is the Falcons are going to be left out due to that little East action. So, or not East, but no, I think it's going to be evenly pretty much divided. I mean, we each have six players getting in, so that means the next division we talk about, we're only going to have one team going to it.
You're right.
So right now I have or no, you have six. I only have five. So that means that tells you what I think about the North. So giving away the North. All right. So guys, if you like the content, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. What do you always say?
Make sure you share because sharing is caring.
That's right. Sharing is caring.